kind of hung with Egypt, and that was a whole different situation.
Gotcha. So say I wanted my record distributed by West Coast distributors. How would I come to you, and what would you be able to do for me back in the day?
Well, West Coast record distributors had a national and international chain of independent distributors that we sold our product to. Now, depending on who you were and what you wanted to do, we can coordinate your promotion. We can coordinate your radio promotion, because back then you had to have radio play to really sell records. Back then, you had to put records in envelopes, lick them, put addresses on them, and mail them to radio stations. Back then, somebody had to call the radio station to make sure you got the record, and then had you heard the record, and then find out if you're gonna play the record. It was a much bigger machine back then. So West Coast had all those services. We had radio tracking. We would pack up, ship your records out. Now, again, all this would cost the label money. We put you into our distribution chain. Now, the promotion situation, that was part of West Coast, but it was kind of subbed out to a couple of guys we had working for us. Okay, we also had connection with independent promoters that can promote your record if you had the money in various regions of the country. And usually, most records were promoted regionally. So if you had a fast hip hop record like Wrecking Crew did, we usually started your stuff down south, Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, because those territories was much more receptive to that sound. And if you got on the P2 stations down there, then eventually we will promote you to the P1 station in that area. If you got P1 to P2 airplay, now we got something to take to the other P1 and P2 stations around the country. That would be our foundation for promotion. And that's how we were started. But again, if you had some money, if you didn't have no money, it was a different deal. We got a bigger slice of it, because now we got to cover all those costs. And there's no guarantee that we're going to make our money back. So now we gambling. And when we start gambling, we got to get a bigger slice of the pie.
And that's where the business comes in, and that's where the animosity starts.
Right, because that's not everybody's. When you first walk into the office, nobody don't know you. It's the record company's job to get people to know who you are, buy your product, and do their thing. Okay. But once your record becomes successful, it's all about you. In the beginning, it's, man, please, could you help me? Could you help me? Could you help me? Please, please, please. All right, I'll give you a shot. Now, once you got some success, fuck you. You didn't do shit. All you did was mail my records out. And that's why I don't do what I do no more, what I used to do no more. Now, I've been called a case. I've been called a case back in the day. Nigga, are you crazy? So anyway, to avoid the frustration and the haterade and all the other stuff, I just stopped doing that, because people don't appreciate the efforts that goes and what you have to do.
I got your question next, Eazy Steve, but let me ask Lonzo this question. As a promoter, what was your worst experience dealing with the artist, to where maybe you guys didn't agree on the money situation, or something along those lines?
One of the worst experiences I've ever had, I was a skate man. I brought in Real Roxanne, and I brought in Salt and Pepper. That's what it was, Salt and Pepper. And I was going through a third party, but dude called himself an agent. Paid this guy a deposit. Talked to Salt and Pepper. Talked to Salt and Pepper. Herbie Love Bug. They all came down, and when they got there, homeboy, I had paid this guy for them to get here. When they got here, homeboy hadn't paid them. Okay. One of my first experiences going through somebody else. Usually I go direct to the artist or the management or whatever. But this guy said, I got this, I got that. And I talked to the guys, no problem. And I gave him the money. He says, give me the money, I'm sending him a deposit. He gave me back a receipt, the whole 9 yards. All right, they want to get the rest of the money. They're coming in town tonight. They want to get the rest of the money. I gave them the rest of the money. So when they get to Skateland, they ask for their money. I already paid homeboy. And well, we don't get paid. Wait, what you mean you don't play unless you get paid? Well, I paid homeboy. So we all went. He was there. We went in the office, and he's sitting there looking stupid. And he just copped. Man, I spent the money on rent and blah. So I had to come out my pocket again and pay him again, because I had a full house of skate man, and I ended up losing money. And homeboy dodged me. Well, from that point on, anytime he saw me, he took off running. Put it that way. Anytime he saw me anywhere at any convention, he'd take off running. Oh, they're Lonzo. So I never really got all my money. He gave me some of my money back, not all of it. And at that time, I was not the nice general guy that you guys know right now. I used to be semi-gangster back in the day, especially when it came to my money. And every time he saw me, he'd take off running.
Yeah.
And that's probably the worst experience.
Yeah, you guys see happy-go-lucky Lonzo here on this show. I couldn't imagine the gangster side of you. I know you for 3 years, and I don't think I've seen it yet. So that.
Oh no, man! You know that's not my. I call it my operating system. That's not my operating system. You know, I let that operating system go. I upgraded to a different version of myself. And but don't think I can't go back and recall them fouls again. It's just that once you realize, man, at a certain age, you realize that anytime in the hospital, anytime in jail, anytime going through a lawsuit, dude, I got more time behind me than in front of me. Not saying I plan on going nowhere no time soon, but then the clock, you start thinking about, look at the clock, the game, look at the game, third quarter, baby, third quarter. I don't want to spend my third quarter in no goddamn penitentiary. Dude, you're not that important to me. I got grandkids I got to go hang out with. You're not that important to me. So I can walk away from some things faster than others. And then there's some people that will do things for me that, you know, hey, if I need something done, I know how to get it done. But that's not even that today is it ain't like it used to be because people talk too much. So anyway, I'm gonna stop talking to myself.
There you go. All right, Easy Steve wants to know, did you ever talk to Easy about supporting one of the cops that was less involved in the Rodney King unlawful beating?
You know what? I did and I didn't. I
understood. Can you explain about that first before you went to the story?
Well, back in the day when Rodney King cops, when the Rodney King cops got beat up, Eazy went to court with one of those cops, and like as a show of support. Okay, he went to court with one of those guys. He was in court.
Was he trolling?
Seeing with the guy, something like that, right after the situation.
Was he trolling?
Much love, Martin Cozy. Thank you, Doc. I appreciate dropping something in the basket there. Much love to you. And it was a big scandal. But you have to understand, Eazy. We didn't have social media back then. We didn't have the same manipulating tools we have right now. But Eazy knew how to manipulate the system. He knew how to get free publicity. He knew if he went into the courtroom with one of those cops, and he spoke. I think if I'm not mistaken, he spoke on behalf of the cops, and that shit went all over the news. Eazy he had dinner with the president. Okay, that shit went all over the news. He understood the power of the press, and he played that to the T. That's what he did. I think his publicist is like Norman. No, I want to say Norman Winters. Norman Winters. I think Jerry told me his publicist was $5,000 a month. Okay, so he made sure that Eazy knew how to manipulate publicity to get free publicity. Okay, so he would do things like that, the straight jacket and the patch over the eye and the FBI letter. They got that FBI letter. Phyllis was his publicist. Phyllis Pollitt became his publicist, and she knew how to work that shit too. So all these things, it was a different time. So it's just like Kanye kicking it with Trump. You're gonna get so much media play out of that, win, lose, or draw. And in this world, especially today, ain't no such thing as bad publicity as long as they spell your name right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you think
that's always been the general consensus about publicity. As long as they spell your name right, ain't no problem.
Yeah. And you did say Eazy E was one of the first trolls. I remember you putting that whole story together. I'm like, damn, he was a troll, man.
Yeah, he was a troll. Oh yeah, he knew how to get. He understood the game, and he knew how to play the game. Yeah. And again, here's somebody that played the game again without social media. Okay, so people act like they know Eazy. No, you had to know Eazy to know Eazy. You can't just assume the persona you see in the records and the videos is the guy that I knew. Okay, different dude, different dude, different dude. Okay, he sit here and told me one time. He said, "I said, man, how long are you gonna play this role? Long as they pay me." And that was his thing. How long you gonna play crazy? Eazy? Long as they pay me. That was his thing. Eazy would do interviews and wouldn't talk. Dre and Yellow would do all the talking, or Ren would do all the talking. Eazy would sit there with a straight jacket on. You know how much pussy that shit got? He sit there with a straight jacket on and whisper in somebody's ear, let them do the interview. Okay? Come on, man. That at that time, that was some wild shit. It ain't nothing nowadays, but back then, that was a big deal. Did you see Eazy the straight jacket? He wouldn't even talk to the interviewer. He had Ren or whoever was doing all the talking. You know, so though playing those little games like that helped him to be infamous.